morning once again. You are watching the Business Portal and our show is Investment Academy. Our topic for today is estate planning. And today with us is Attorney Lea Roque of Punong Bayan and Arroyo. She's the head of the tax division of Punong Bayan and Arroyo. And so again, we are now in our learning portion. We have some slides here that Attorney Roque will explain to us. Just a recap of what we talked about earlier.
Okay, so next slide. Okay, so we're discussing estate tax, no? And as we mentioned earlier, the rate for estate tax starts at 5% and the top rate is 20% of the net estate. So the 20% would kick in at the top bracket of 10 million. Okay. And then as I said, you determine the gross estate, which is the fair market value of all your assets, real or personal, and that's worldwide now if you're a Filipino citizen. And there are certain deductions. Kaya you start from gross estate, you deduct the deductions, and then you arrive at the net estate. And that's the net estate.
What comprises the deductions?
Yun nga, yung one, of course, you take
the one you just mentioned, the medical
expenses, funeral claims against the estate, ganyan. And of course, you take out the portion of the surviving spouse. No? So not the entire property is all taxable right away. You take out the portion of the surviving spouse, and then the deductions, and then you arrive at the net estate, which then you subject to tax.
Back to the previous slide, please. Okay, so then.
And then when do you file, no? So it's due, the due date would be 6 months from the date of death. And then if the value of the gross estate is more than 2 million, you need to get a CPA. Or an auditor to render a CPA report. Okay, so the CPA would list down all the assets, the fair market value, the deductions, and to arrive at the gross, at the net estate. And then pay as you file tayo, no? So when you file the return, you pay the tax. Of course, you can ask for extension, and there are extensions that can be granted by the BIR.
Okay, next slide, please. So why plan? What would you want to achieve and what would you want to avoid? Yeah.
Yung sabi natin, no, usually yung primary ng mga taxpayers would be to lessen the taxes, no? But that should not be the end and be all of estate planning. While we're doing this, usually the person would want to do this during in his lifetime so that he can talk to the heirs, determine also what they want, and avoid any fights or squabbling among the family later on.
Like the Mano po show. Yeah, next slide please. Okay, no, before that. Yes.
Yes. So ito yung mga estate planning devices natin. No? So aside from, so you don't wait na nga, no, for the happening of the death. No? So you dispose of your assets early on, and you can do that either through sale, donation, transfer to a controlled corporation, irrevocable trust, or yung irrevocable insurance. So we've put there the applicable taxes. So if it's sale, if it's an ordinary asset, then you include that in your income tax return. That's subject to 32% income tax. But if it's real property and it's capital asset, that's 6% tax. If it's shares of stocks in a corporation, that's 5 to 10%. Donation, our top rate is 15% if relative. But if you donate to a stranger, that's 30%.
Let's say you donate to your driver.
That's 30%.
That's 30%. Okay.
And then yung sa transfer to a controlled corporation, the first transfer, as we said, is tax deferred. No? That's tax-free. So we call it tax deferred because the taxation would happen when you transfer the shares that you got from the corporation. Okay. And then irrevocable trust, of course, when you transfer to a trust, okay, so you put in either it's sale or donation. Okay, but then, ang maganda naman dun sa you transfer already to the irrevocable trust is the property is already protected in trust for your heir.
Okay, can you expound on that? Irrevocable trust is like, who handles this? A bank?
Pwede yung bank, normally it's a bank para merong professional manager, no? But of course, your trustee can be anybody, your trusted friend, trusted relative. But the good part about that is that portion of the property is already held in trust for the beneficiary.
Yeah,
So,
they don't
kung
pay
sa,
tax.
there is a tax, okay? The trust is taxable also. And the one that's given to the beneficiary is also subjected to tax. But the advantage of that is, yun nga, preserve na yung property to the beneficiary. So let's say later on, malugi ka sa business mo, or magkaroon ng maraming claims sa'yo, hindi na nila matatouch yung property na yun because it's already in trust for that beneficiary.
But the person still owns the property.
It's in trust already, so the legal title has been transferred already to the
Oh, okay.
trustee.
To the trustee. Okay, and the last one in the slide is the slide before that is irrevocable beneficiary.
Yes,
Na insurance.
so irrevocable insurance, no? So if it's an irrevocable insurance, just like an irrevocable trust, the proceeds of that is no longer taxable to the decedent. So it's tax-free already. Some people use that who want to benefit the beneficiary, or some of them, they don't want to do estate planning anymore. Ito na yung pinaka-estate planning niya.
And parang, okay, I have an insurance of 100 million. So this is my estate. So when something happens, bahala na kayo, just get
The cash.
the cash from there and pay the taxes.
Correct, yes. And why do people do that, no? Some people are not comfortable with giving away their assets during their lifetime, diba? A lot of things can still happen, eh. Yung mga horror stories nga that we read, everything has been transferred to the child, and then nauna pa yung child sa kanya. Diba? And then suddenly, he doesn't have any assets, and then the assets are now being managed by the spouse of the child. No? So medyo wala kang assets. No? So you want, as much as possible, some people would want to have their own assets. Hindi pa sila ready to part with the assets.
And of course, as you age, of course, it's also your security, di ba?
So they'd rather get insurance, and then yung insurance yung bahala for the estate taxes that will be due later on.
Okay, that's quite clear. No? I hope you guys were able to catch that. Next slide, please. Yeah.
Ito lang yung, it's a graphical representation of what happens when we do a tax-free transfer to a controlled corporation. So you see there, the transferor will have a bunch of properties, usually real property, yan kasi yun yung usually pina-transfer eh. So, and then it's transferred to a corporation, and then that corporation will issue shares to the transferor. So, now the transferor is holding shares of a company and no longer the hard assets. And then those shares can be transferred to the heirs, or sold to the heirs, or they can slowly issue shares to the heirs para magkakaroon ng joint ownership in this corporation.
2 shares lang talaga. Okay, yes. Okay, that's quite clear. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Here. The revocable and irrevocable trust.
So we always discuss ano ba yung revocable, irrevocable trust. Ganun din for revocable, irrevocable insurance. No? So the conditions are for revocable trust. Trustor reserves the right to change the terms and conditions. So parang meron pa siyang, why do we call it revocable? Hindi pa full yung transfer. Okay? Pwede pa niyang baguhin. And then, hindi pa, the power to revest in grantor, the title of the property. So basically, it's still his. Irrevocable, pag sinabi mong irrevocable, you cannot change it anymore. So, nandun na, dun sa beneficiary, no more power to change the terms and conditions, and no more revesting of title to the insured or to the trustor.
Question, why irrevocable trust in the bank versus irrevocable insurance? What's the difference?
So, well, irrevocable insurance is a product that you buy, no? You invest in it, and then you say this is irrevocable as to my beneficiary. Irrevocable trust, as I said, is
the
that
property itself.
the property you transfer it, let's say a pool of money or a pool of property, to a trustee who will manage that pool of property for the benefit of your beneficiary.
So this is the actual property already. So question, are there people that they just don't want to go through the estate tax? Linagay na nila lahat sa irrevocable trust. Pwede ba yun?
Pwede din, no? In fact, yung iba, nilalagay nila yun kasi they want to preserve the property. We've had a situation before na yung parents, they want to put it in a trust. Siguro kasi they're not comfortable with yung how their children can manage the property. Baka takot sila na pag binigay na yung property, ibebenta ka agad, and then mag-dissipate ka agad yung proceeds. So, it's one device that you can use to preserve the property and give a professional management over those assets.
I see. When, is there another slide after that?
I'm not so sure.
Okay, so that's it. So, question, what age does a person have to plan for their estate? I mean, yeah.
Well, nobody can predict when we're gonna die. Okay. So, parang sinasabi, live your life to the fullest, but plan always for today, di ba? Kasi you never know eh. So, siguro with this discussion, hopefully after this, they start planning. Hindi naman kaagad iniisip natin na implementation kaagad, no? You start drawing up all your assets siguro and start thinking,
writing it down.
no? And start thinking, which asset should go to daughter A, which asset should go to daughter B, and siguro, pag-isipan mo maigi, no? And how to do that. And then, implement. The sooner you implement, the better. Because you don't know what happens tomorrow, eh.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so we'll get back to that. For our finance news, baka makalimutan ko yung finance news ko. Our topic is very interesting. Finance news like this. So banking, business, and finance news, the inflation rises to 7-month high in October, and that's about 2.59%. And then interest rates expected to go up, says the BSP. So the PLDT books 29 billion profit in January to September. So if you have PLDT shares, and I'm sure that went up already, so peso expected to remain firm for the rest of the year. So it's now doing 43, 43.50. So I guess you just, if you don't want to sell it, it's still good at 43.50, no? And for our stock market news, okay, for our finance watch, for the stock market, it went down 23.81. The index is 6,519.58. It opened at 6,556.27. It went on a high of 6,563.4. And it went on a low of 6,504.67. For our peso-dollar exchange rate, the peso, it opened, the rate is 43.195. It opened at 43.320. It went on a high of 43.190. It went on a low of 43.330. So it averaged 43.281. So again, for questions, you may get in touch with us 0917-862-7576, 0917-86-AskPro. You can also email justaskpro@gmail.com. And Facebook, just AskPro. Twitter, just_AskPro. Okay, I have a question though. According to my question, kunyari, may common law wife or live-in partner, yung the deceased. So how is that treated? And then let's say there are 3 kids. So paano yan?
So common law kasi, well, we don't say common law, no? Parang
Or live-in partner, hindi ba common law yun?
Well, common law naman yung tawag talaga. Ang treatment doon is as if they co-own the property, no? Of course, that assumes na walang legal wife.
Wala, let's say wala.
Okay, so yun. So co-own yung property that they were able to acquire during the lifetime, and then yung mga children, because there are no legitimate, so lahat to illegitimate. So since silang 4 lang, then they should share in the property.
So let's say, so the pie is divided into 4.
Oo.
Okay, kunyari may legitimate children yung deceased, tapos meron siyang live-in partner. Paano yun?
Yung live-in partner, wala na siya, no? So, the compulsory heirs there would be the children, the legitimate children.
Okay. Di ba parang I read before that when they're like living together for 8 years or more, merong right? Wala na pala yun pala.
Actually, walang, kasi we said na may legitimate children. So, well, presumption natin doon, may spouse, no?
Ayun nga, kunyari wala ng spouse, pero may legitimate children, tapos meron siyang live-in partner.
Yung live-in partner kasi hindi siya legal wife, no? So, normally, you can give siguro to her kung wala nang wife yung decedent, you can give to her free portion lang, hindi mo legitimate.
Which is half, diba? Usually, if it's a spouse, surviving spouse, it's 50%, correct?
No, if it's a spouse, surviving spouse, una natin tinatanggal yung diba, yung share of the surviving spouse. Hindi niya minana yun, kanya yun. Because half of the whole property is really hers. Now, after taking that away, now you're left with the gross estate of the decedent. So, yung gross estate of the decedent, i-divide mo yan among the heirs. The spouse is entitled to the share equivalent to one legitimate child.
Oh, okay.
So, and then yung illegitimate children will be entitled to half the share of a legitimate child.
The illegitimate, half the share. Okay. So, kung 20% yung share niya, 10% sa illegitimate child.
Oo.
Okay, question. What if it's annulment, nag-annul yung tapos meron siyang live-in partner? Paano yun?
Wala na yun.
Wala na.
So,
Wala nang right yung annulled spouse.
Oo,
No?
kasi when you do annulment, na yan nagkakaroon na ng separation of property. So, na-separate na yan, hindi mo na siya force or compulsory heir.
Okay, so, alright. Anything else that we have to know when it comes to wealth transfer and estate planning?
I guess based on experience, no, most of the children, most of the parents, palagi nilang iniisip is to give the children share in the business. No? And minsan, kunyari, let's say there are 4 kids, let's say hindi na sinama si mami, 25% each, no? Ang minsan pinag-aawayan dyan would be not everybody would want the business. So right after inayos mo na naka-estate plan ka na, everybody has a 25% share. Here comes daughter A saying that, no, I want to cash out and I want to live abroad. So, palagi I think I cannot emphasize hard enough, talk to your children and try to determine ano ba talaga yung gusto nila. Kasi pag naayos mo na and then later on sabihin nila, that's not what I want, sayang naman yung exercise. Because, as we said, estate planning also, it's not just to lessen the taxes, it's also to avoid squabbling in the future. And of course, an equitable and fair distribution of your wealth.
Okay, so then before we end the show, it's so fast, we're done. Any message to our viewers? And of course, please let them know where they can get in touch with you.
Yes. So, you can contact me, of course, through Punong Bayan in Arroyo. My landline is 988-2288, so that's our trunk line. I think my email address has been flashed earlier, but it's leah.roque@ph.gt.com. And siguro parting message, start planning now. There's
As soon as you start earning money, is that it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Start planning, no? As early as you can, and then siguro when you have heirs already, then this is the time that you try to implement.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So again, just like how I pick it up also is that when you leave for vacation, you tell that this is what's going to happen, you plan. So when you live forever, you have to plan something. So that's it. Thank you for today. And we need to manage our wealth wisely, calculate every move you make towards spending your money. You have to respect the wealth that you have made for you and your family, and honor God and thank Him for the talent and the wisdom that He gave us, that brought us where we are today. Again, I will leave you with the magic 3. With luck comes preparedness. Make your money work harder for you and build wealth for your peace of mind. Thank you to my sponsor, Frank Provo, at the Manila Peninsula and Flawless, located all over Metro Manila and in the provinces. See you next week, same time, same channel, as we continue learning about different business and investment opportunities. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.